I should be in on this break. We have fun when we're on the break time. So hey, so now I'm just gonna go around the room again, and now we're just gonna. It's time to chime in and talk to these fathers for equal rights to let us know this, what's really going on out there. How you all can impact what's going on to help encourage these gentlemen, because some of them have given up because they fought so long. So I just want my brother Cleveland Wilson here to kind of tell a little bit about his story.
Good morning, folks. First of all, I'd like to definitely send my prayers down to the friends and family down in South Texas getting affected by Hurricane Harvey. Just like y'all to know that we're thinking about you, and our prayers are with you. But I would say, for me, I guess I would say I'm an example of the system actually working for a father. I went through a lot of things in the last 17 years, with my son and getting and keeping custody of him. I'm really appreciative of the fact that I was one of the fathers that actually was able to be heard. There's so many that give up. I talk to a lot of my friends now on a daily basis, just trying to give them suggestions or tell them, what I did to do, what I had to do to get, my custody of my son. At the end of the day, just like you were saying, you're here to protect your kids. So no matter what I had going on, whatever my son's mother had going on, that was always my first priority, is to make sure that my son had what he needed, got what he needed, and had the love and attention that he needed.
Amen.
So it didn't matter to me if, to this day, my son actually just called me and said his mother's on her way to get him. It's like, okay, cool. I'm not the father or the one of the parents that, oh no, I paid for all of the clothes this year, so you're staying with me. No, it's not about that. It's not about that, because at the end of the day, my son has his own life. He has to, that's his family, whether I want it to be or not. I cannot take that back. My mother, I was always so angry at my son's mother, and she somehow always, no matter what she did, she always loved her. I always loved her with that. I always say good things about her. And she said, boy, at the end of the day, that's still his mama. If something happened to him, it's going to affect you, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it was like, man, that really makes sense, So, you fathers out there, just don't give up. You love your kids. You made them. I commend you for stepping up and being there. And it's sad that we've gotten to the point where we have to actually step up and be there. It should already be something that's set in stone. My son, I tell him all the time, if you ever have a bunch of kids around this world and ain't taking care of them, you gotta deal with me before that happens. So, it's just not something that I have taught him. He sees, what I do for him and his baby sister, and he's like, man, you really love us. And it means a lot to you, and it makes everything that you go through all worth it, at the end of the day, when you can lay down and know that your kids are with you and safe, and they have, the things that they need to succeed. It just makes you feel a lot better. So, just like to say, just don't give up. Keep the fight alive.
Right. So, Bill or Paul, what would you say to Cleveland if you had him in your office?
We would. First of all, we offer free legal counsel if he's a member. And there are 18 attorneys that are available in 2 different offices in Dallas and Fort Worth. And he would get the counsel of many. And he would come to our office. He'd be greeted by counselors that we have on board that know custody matters. They know social studies. They know psychological evaluations. They've helped me personally. That's how I got involved. And I'll tell my story in just a minute. But he would be very blessed to be and embraced by people there that really care deeply about the kids. They care about dads, they care about moms. I've referred lots of mothers to fathers. I've referred lots of dads to mothers, and they all need help. And I've seen mothers get get primary custody when the dad was involved with heavy domestic violence. I've seen dads get primary custody when mom just was going to do parental alienation against the father. Mm-hmm. So if I could tell my story just briefly. Sure. In 2004, I knew nothing about fathers. I was told by an attorney, he said, there's no way you'll ever get custody unless your wife's involved in criminal activity. And he said it a little bit more street-like than that, but he said, unless she's a criminal, you won't get custody. I fired the attorney and went to another attorney, a lady in my office, an older woman. She said, you go to Fathers for Equal Rights. And I did. And I met a counselor there. I got some legal advice, and the counselor helped me get through a social study, a psychological evaluation, and after 15 counseling sessions, I realized I had a darn good chance of getting custody of my kids. Awesome. And I needed custody because if you read, I had two different evaluators. There were PhDs. One read the social study, another PhD read the psychological evaluation, another MD, psychiatrist, read a forensic psychiatric evaluation. They all three said custody should probably go to the father, and so all three of them agreed to that. And I got custody of a 4, 5, and 6-year-old. I still have custody. They are now 16, 19, and 20. Wow. And there's 2 girls and a boy. They still visit their mom. I want them to see their mother. I want them to be blessed by their mothers. But in terms of being having primary custody and influencing their lives, where they go to church, go to school, friends they meet, culture they're involved, I've been involved. And she's been involved too, but my kids would all tell you, all 3 of them, I'm glad I'm with my dad.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's kind of hard, especially when you have a mother out there that, probably loves the child too, but then to hear the child physically say, I want to be with my dad. Right. Wow. That's hard. That's hard. Yeah. Rosalinda, you have anything you want to tag back on that?
Yeah, I just want all the parents out there, we gotta get, we gotta be there for our kids. That's if one of the other parent is not doing the right thing, we need to step up. We need to learn. We got our place, doors open. We just gotta say, hey, we need help, and we there, to help them. It's a simple, process. Once they get to our doors, we kind of just give an orientation of what we do and how we do it. Become a member, talk to the attorney. Attorney puts together a recommendation sheet according, like a legal forms, right. Everything with the legal language. And it's basically putting everything together that the judge needs to know. A lot of people, they're afraid, well, this is representing yourself. But what a lot of people don't know, that what the attorney puts together for you, it's everything that the judge needs to know. Right. The judge, duty in there is just to review. You follow the right process. You take in the right document. Just give me a line where I need to sign and move to the next step. That's what they want. That's what they want. They're looking for the best interest of the children. If we don't step up and do the right thing, we got a lot of people coming, hey, I'm pretty sure if there's a lot of folks out there that they don't let me see my child, come to us. Right. If we got a lot of kids that mom move and I don't know where she's at, and come to us. Let the attorneys show you how to do this. At least know your rights, because there's a lot of people out there. They do have a court order, but they have it somewhere in there at the house. Mm-hmm. They don't know what's in there. Right. It's important to know what we got in there. It's important to know that if the other side is not doing what they're supposed to, this is how can I handle it. Mm-hmm. Take it in front of the judge and enforce it, because our kids, I mean, we all love our kids, so someone's got to do the right thing, and we need to step up and be there for our kids.
I think the biggest thing is people who are not really like attorneys, and they read that jargon, they don't understand, and it fears them to try to continue, because it's so hard to read that legal language. Yeah. And it's just like, so.
My thing has been going on for close to 15 years or more. And when I started out, I spent I lost my family, my wife, my home, my whole lifestyle, my credit, everything. I moved into an apartment for the first time after 20 years. I was devastated emotionally, psychologically, physically, spiritually broken.
Oh, wow.
And after going through $170-something thousand worth of all of our assets in a 2-year court battle, I ended up being forced by my own will not to stop, as you said, to represent myself in court. And at first, it was the legal jargon, it was the system, it was the protocol, it was the procedures that I needed to understand, study, and learn. And I learned by doing it wrong so many times I knew what not to do.
Correct. Wow.
But I never stopped.
Yeah,
And
Keep
so
going.
you don't need to know what to do. We can teach you what not to do.
the attorneys
A
are
lot
there
of
to
these
do
things-
that.
Right.
A lot of these things that we're trying to help people with is with these custody evaluators. We can tell you what to do, but we can also tell you exactly what it looks like what you're doing, which is what you don't want to do. You don't realize what you're portraying, what the perception is of the way you're perceiving yourself is not lining up, because you're in that battle. Everybody, when they get a divorce, I hate her, I hate him, this is my child, this is my child too. Once that settles down, I would say normal people over a day or a month or 5 days or 5 years or whatever your magic number is, they do what's in the best interest of the child. And that's the culture that our book picker gets us into. We picked the wrong person who didn't want to stay with us, or we didn't want to stay with for whatever purpose. We have the liberty to do that. That's what I was talking about earlier. But now you've got the responsibility that follows. And so learning the court system is what I've done over 13 years. I've done quite well in the court system by anybody's standard. Our judge has been very difficult and very hard on me, and fairly so, because of my ignorance. I'm not stupid. Stupid's doing it over and over again knowing it's wrong. Ignorance is not knowing any better and actually learning something.
Something from it,
Stupid's
right?
forever.
Yeah.
You know, we're not
There you go.
forever
Right.
stupid. We're definitely ignorant, and that's a badge of honor for me. Please help me, inform me, correct me, and help me to be better. That's what we're about.
Right.
Yeah.
And where there's safety, there's numbers. And so everybody has a different thing to bring. Rosalinda, Bill, and I could talk about, Moises. He's in our Dallas office. We love this guy. We have some attorneys that are really absolutely something else, and we have some that we wish could be even better than that. But we'll be honest about what your information is and what we're doing, because we're about the children. We're about
Right.
the grandparents and the parent mothers. It's not about mine and yours.
Yeah.
It's about understanding where your nose ends, my nose begins, and what's good for the little nose that we have to wipe.
Right.
I think that's
Right.
correct, right? The legal part of it is relevant, but then before the legal part, right? It was two adults that laid down to make this child, or two individuals that laid down to make this child. So being able to speak to each other and communicate with each other, listening to understand where the other one's coming from versus listening to respond is needed. Understanding the legal part and going to court and handling yourself accordingly is needed, but prior to that, those two individuals need to be able to sit down and communicate and be able to say, I'm going to put my child before anything else.
Right.
There's
Because
no
it's first.
substitution for that.
Yeah.
But in 2017, we all come from a different culture, especially with biracial parents and everything else. We got to talk about the pink elephant in the room.
Yeah, that's
You know,
the
I was raised, I'm a recovering Baptist.
That's a good way to put it. Recovering, all right.
I know that it's about my personal relationship with God. Not because I'm a recovery, I'm better than you. I've been dunked in the water, and
Yeah.
There's a thing called cognitive dissonance, and that's where I claim to be a Christian, and I was saved because Jesus Christ died for my sins, because I'm not good enough to do any better than that. I don't have enough sense to choose better. It's in my nature.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is, I'm a Christian and I know I've been saved, but you can't be forgiven because you're my ex and you said X, Y, and Z. That's the
That's
cognitive part of your psychological makeup is dissident from your actual ownership of who you
Right.
say you are as a Christian. How can you align those two up?
Right, right,
We
right.
pass this to our children. This is not what we want to be, folks.
Right.
And so, yes, you go to court and represent yourself because you have no money, but you don't quit. And yes, you walk into court ignorant and take 19 steps back before you ever break even and get a ruling that's just in your favor. It's not about how many rulings you've lost. You talk to the guy, Edison, that made the light bulb. I didn't try 60 billion, 20 million, 35,000 times. and fail, I learned what doesn't work. And we learn from our ignorance, and we make ourselves look intelligent. I barely graduated high school, folks. I'm not smart enough to do this. I'm just smart enough to do it some more.
That's right.
I just think I'm not smart enough to quit.
Keep it going.
I just don't understand no.
I'm like I'm a big believer of, you know, there's an issue, like me, I get in trouble all the time because I hate going to the pharmacy. I hate getting, you know, pills, because to me, they give you the pills to cover up what's going on. So I'm the guy that
I'm the
says,
same way.
I need to get this fixed. So I think about it all the time, like, where do we go? What, like, is there need to be a new course in like high school, like parenting? Like, I mean, seriously, it's funny, but it's gotten so bad to where, like, it's a continuous thing. It's continuous, and one generation will teach the next, and then, you know, where do we go?
But you're backing up the ignorance issue that I'm talking about. We need more information to make better, wiser choices.
So let's stay there. We'll come back and we'll bring that point back up. We'll be back. We're going to a commercial break.
All right.